again, and welcome back to Hauppauge Gaming. Fallinfrog here with another tip of the week. I'm going to keep things short and sweet this time, though. I'm going to show you how to add a scene to OBS Studio that doesn't include any audio sources. And you're probably wondering why that is. The reason why is because when you first install OBS Studio and you first run it, the very first time, it has to create a collection of scenes, and it calls it Untitled. And this is where I know when I first started, I just started adding sources to this very first scene here. It has nothing in it, it's just like a blank document. So I just started adding stuff into it. The problem is the audio mixer already has desktop audio and a microphone auxiliary source attached to it. I have not been able to find a way to remove these manually. They're just always there. And the problem lies when you start adding new scenes to the collection of scenes. If I add a new scene, say scene 1, and I want to turn this into my Be Right Back screen. So I want to have a scene that it doesn't need to have my microphone inputs. It can have my desktop audio, especially if if we're doing song requests or something like that, and we want to keep the audio playing. That would be helpful. But if I'm in a Skype call and I'm visiting with my friends and we're all in a group chat and we'll be right back and I switch it over, it would be nice to talk to my friends and not have that broadcast and sent through to Twitch or put on recording on YouTube. So it's a nice way to actually give yourself a break. You can take a 2-minute break, the camera's off of you for a second so you can, you got some downtime. That's what I wanted. Without having the microphone not attached to it, you'd have to manually hit the mute button. If I'm playing in the scene and I'm playing my game and I go to Be Right Back, so I switch it over, I've got to manually mute the microphone so that it doesn't pick up anything if I'm on a phone call or someone's at the door. And then once you come back to the game, my problem was I didn't always remember to unmute myself. So there were a number of times where I'd come back and I would just be muted, talking away, and I'd have to wait for that Twitch delay to catch up and for the chat to say, hey Frog, unmute yourself, we can't hear you. So it was just something that I struggled to, I was just kind of struggling with, and I wanted to figure out a way to solve that. As it turns out, the way to do that is just to go up to Scene Collection and create one from scratch, brand new. You do have to enter a name for that, so I'm just going to do TOTW for this week, for Tip of the Week. And you can see it's got us, just like normal, we've got one scene started with no sources, but now our audio mixer is completely blank. So it doesn't have the microphone going this time. It doesn't have desktop audio. If we were to add just a single image right here to to our scene, which let's see what we've got here. So I've just quickly got my images and stuff right here, right? So we throw it into our scene, whatnot, and this is just Be Right Back. I also use my Be Right Back screen for as soon as I go live. Once I go live, I like to reload my dashboard, check to make sure that the settings are all good, that the channel does go live. Twitch will also let you know with the green box. It'll say excellent. So I do that. I also send out my tweets, update, send out posts on social media to let people know, hey, I'm streaming Titanfall 2 or whatever it is, and let you guys know. So it's a good place to be able to do that. But it's nice to not have the microphone going, right? So we create a new scene, and let's rename this. I'm going to rename this one to Gameplay. Now for this next scene for Gameplay, we could add all this stuff. Our video capture device or window captures. We could go through and basically set up what the audience is going to see when we're actually playing the game, right? We don't have our microphone selected. We also don't have any audio source going through, so we do need to manually add those. But it's very easy. You just go up here to audio input capture and then audio output capture. So first we'll do audio input, and this is just your microphone. So go ahead and you should name that. You should rename it to something that's easy for you to identify with. The device, I've got 3 microphones hooked up, so I can select between these 3 or just select default like it would normally have. So I'll just go with default, which is my blue snowball, which you can see as I'm talking, it's it's moving back and forth. So we've got the microphone selected. If you want your desktop audio brought back, also audio output capture, and this is any audio that's being output by your computer. You can just have that sent through on your stream as well. This is what I use whenever I game with my buddies. We'll usually hang out in a Skype call, and we'll use that for our commentary and banter and just, you know, having a lot of fun. So you know, the computer, it goes right from Skype. It's being picked up through my, you know, default speaker sound system, and just gets sent right on through OBS. So we've got the microphone, we've got the audio set up. Now if we go back to this first scene that we had for our Be Right Back screen, you'll notice the microphone's not being picked up anymore. It also doesn't have desktop audio, so if I was in a Skype call and I got a phone call and, you know, I told the stream, hey, I'll be right back, I get up and leave, I switch it to the Be Right Back screen, I get up and leave. All of my friends in the Skype call, they can keep talking. I could talk to them. We could have a moment to regroup and figure out what we're going to do, and the audience doesn't have to hear all that. You can also add music. You can also add, you know, media source. You can add MP3s, and we're just going to add a local file. So I'll browse to one. We'll throw that on a loop. I usually like to have that on a loop because you never know how long you'll be gone. So now this scene does have some audio going to it. At least there is some sort of audio stimulus for the audience members. When we come back to the game, it's got our microphone, it's got, you know, it's got my desktop audio, so, you know, chat resumes, microphone resumes, all of that resumes. If you need a break, switch it over. You don't have any of that going on. So it's this was something that actually took me probably a year to realize. When I first set up OBS Studio, I just used the untitled scene collection that it had by default. I just started building off of that, not knowing that later on I would want the freedom of switching scenes without having to mute my microphone. So that's a handy little tip. Hopefully that helps you guys. Hopefully you didn't have to wait a year to learn that tip like I did. And if you have any questions that you want to see answered in a future video, you can leave those as well. I'd be happy to, you know, we'll be happy to look those over and see what we can do to help you guys out. So as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.